Yes, Chetan sir, is I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Very good morning to one and all. Myself, Lukesh Kadu, Assistant Professor from Shan Anchor Kutch Engineering College, IT Department. I welcomes you all for the one-day workshop on full-day stack web development with Python, organized by IEEE SACEC in association with Information Technology Department. Now, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce you to today's speaker, Professor Chetan Mahajan sir. Professor Chetan Mahajan sir, working as an assistant professor in information technology department, sir has completed his ME in information technology from University of Mumbai in 2015. He has 11 years of teaching experience. Sir has published several papers in national and international journals. He has mentored research projects in collaboration with various industries. Sir has conducted faculty development program on Microsoft Teams for faculty of SACEC, and sir is very much expertise in website development and various programming domains as well. Now I request Professor Chetan sir to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for the introduction. And I welcome you all again to this particular workshop on web development with Python. So instead of wasting time, I'll just share my screen and I'll start our discussion. Sir, my screen is visible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
Okay. So I don't believe in giving presentations because it's just a theory. And I think that for theory, uh, this particular session is not required, right? So, but still, as a protocol or as a tradition, I can say, we will start with this small presentation and where I'll explain very few basic things about web development with Python, and then we will move ahead. So these are the contents of today's entire day. That is, what is Django and why. We will see MVC and MVT architecture. Basically, we will see the MVT architecture in detail, and then we will move ahead with the programming things, that is setting up the environment, Django basics. Then we will talk about models and migrations, and then I'll show you the Django forms. So actually, this is not all. Django is much more than this. So one day is not enough to complete the Django, and even not a month, because as and when we develop some applications based on the problem statements which are from the real life, we came to know that we need to explore more and we need to do something more, right? So it's up to I'll just show you the path today. I'll just show you the way today to how to start with the Django and how to develop the applications. It's your turn then to go with your own studies and go with your own explorations and then study this Django and explore this Django. So I'll just move ahead and we'll discuss about what is Django and why. So this is just a formal definition which I got from a web reference. Django is a Python-based web framework that will allow us to write Python code that dynamically generates HTML and CSS. Now, if you look at this particular definition, it says it generates HTML and CSS dynamically, right? And it is a Python-based web framework. So this is true for each and every web framework which is there in the market, right? Like Flask is also there, which is a Python-based web framework, which is already there in your syllabus of information technology second year semester 4, right? So why Django? So basically, if you look at your Flask or if you study some projects in the Flask, you will come to know that Flask gives us most of the things. Means whatever we require to develop a web application, Flask provides us. But in Flask, we will have to develop each and everything on our own. What I mean to say is, if you look at Django, Django provides you database integration automatically by migrating it. Django provides you user authentication. There is a auth module. Django provides you the user management, and it has its own admin panel through which you can interact with the other applications, or you can interact with the actual databases. But whereas if you look at the Flask, in Flask everything is given, but we will have to code each and every small thing. So that reduces our focus from our actual web application or application development or business logic to the actual programming. So that should not happen. For example, if I want to develop an application where some machine learning abilities or data science abilities are required, in that case, what happens? My focus should be on developing how I can provide the machine learning or artificial intelligence abilities in that particular application, instead of developing the things which are required for a web application. Right. So instead of focusing on core technical aspects of web application, if you focus on application level of the application, in that case it is rapid development. So that is why Django, a lot of code is already written, as I mentioned. So we will see as and when we will go through the programming and development phases, we will see how the code is written and how can we customize that particular code. So I'll move ahead. So this is general model view controller architecture. So this is what is there in PHP, I can say, or in Java also model view controllers are supported. So what is model view controller? See, basically when we talk about any application or an website, basically, so what website is, we request some data to the website, okay, and web server responses some data or a response to our request. So it's a request response architecture, basically, right? So after a request response architecture, what happens at the server side, that is depicted over here in model view controller. So a user sends a request and the request will be accessed by, or it will be entertained by a controller. Now controller understands that request, what user exactly want, and if the user wants some data from a model, now model we can say it's a data set, okay, so where the data is stored, you can assume that, right? Some data, if it is required from the database, controller will get that data from a model after contacting to controller, and then controller will decide how shall that data to be displayed to the user back again. Then it delivers that particular data to view, and then it will be shown to the user. So this is a basic general architecture of model view controller. Now how the model view template architecture is different than this model view controller. Now if you see this diagram, here it is user requests some data, okay, or user sends a request to server. The server will receive that particular request, and here the request will be received by URL. So URL is nothing but, you can say, a controller which will be present in the Django server, and that will receive the request. After receiving the request, the Django server or the URL will forward that particular request to view. So here in model view controller architecture, first of all, the data was taken by the controller, and then the data was delivered, or it will be sent to views. Here what happens? From URL, the data will be sent to view. View will decide that if it requires data from the model or not. If it is required data, then from model it will get the data, and then it will send it to templates, and that is why here the name of the architecture is model view templates. So earlier everything was managed by views actually. So take a data from the controller and show it to the user. Here what happens? Views is doing just a intermediary task, like getting data from the model and sending it to the template, and template will be responsible for sending it to the or showing it to the data to the user. So because of which what happens, processing at the server reduces, because view is not responsible for showing anything. View is just responsible for taking some data from the model and giving back it to the template, and template is responsible for sending or showing the data. Now the templates are written in client side languages, okay, so HTML, CSS, and there is some script of Python mentioned in the program or in the page, and that gives you the data. So we will go ahead and we will see how this particular model view template architecture is implemented in Django. So this is what the diagram is we have seen in the last slide. And now if we create an actual application, the file structure is like this. So let us say I have created a site called as my site, okay, which is highlighted over here on the left hand side. Okay, my site is my website which I am developing, and I have created an app inside it. Okay, my app. So now here, as and when we will develop the application, web application, we need to divide, or we need to understand this, that each and every website will have multiple applications. For example, If you take a google.com, the very first application we interact with is a search. So search is an application. Okay. And from that 9 dot on the right top corner that we see, we get some apps over there also. For example, Drive, Hangouts, Meet, Classroom, etc. Right. So each and every service that is provided over here or in the web application, we will represent that service with the name called as app. Okay. So my site is a main website. Okay. And there are several files over here. We will go through these files as and when we explore more on this particular Django. Okay. And there are some apps available. Now I have created my app and my site. These two things I have created. So inside my site, I have created an app called as my app. And on the left hand side, there is a diagram which I shown you in the last slide also. Now, as I said, very first, the request will be received by urls.py. Okay. So this URL thing is implemented in Django by using a file called as URLs. Okay, which is mentioned over here. That will receive a request. Okay, and in URLs, I'll be coding that to whom that particular request is to be forwarded. Okay, either it will be a view or a URLs file of any application. Okay, so if I say user is requesting some data or user is requesting some app called as my app, then URLs is responsible for redirecting that particular request to my app. Okay, and if it is if the user wants some data from a view, okay, then there is another file called as views.py where I'll be writing my views, okay, which will be responsible for handling the user requests. So your URLs will redirect the request to a particular view, okay, and that will be written in the views.py. Then if view requires some data, as I said, it will be taking the data from the models. So there is again a file called as models.py, okay, over here, where I'll be writing my all the data models, and I'll give the ability of getting data in the form of objects, okay, through this models.py. And then from the model, if some data is to be rendered on a template, okay, for a better visualization, in that case, it will be redirected to, or the data will be sent to templates. So now templates is a directory where I'll be storing my n number of templates. Okay, so it is that simple. So each and every request will come. The request will be handled by urls.py. urls.py will check where to forward the request. If that particular request is to be forwarded to another application, it will forward that request to that particular application. Okay, and if that request is to be forwarded to a view, then it will be forwarded to a views.py, and views.py will decide what to do next. If a data is to be brought from some model, it will take that data from a model, and then it will send that particular object or data objects, those data objects to templates, right? So this is what model view architecture, sorry, model view template architecture is. Okay, so we will end this particular slideshow over here, and we will quickly go to our programming. Okay, so I have created a folder over here for Sakik, and now we will start our actual workshop. So I'll go to my command prompt cmd, okay, on this particular location. I hope it is visible, sir. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, let me just increase the font. Okay, yeah. So this is the path where I want to create an web application. Now, as I told you, after this particular during the slideshow, that we will be looking at setting up the environments. Now, what is environment, right? So basically, see, if I am working on 2-3 projects at the same time, and there are some requirements of each and every project. Sir, is it okay if I switch off my camera? Because what happens is there
Yes,
is a
yes,
bandwidth
yes,
problem,
yes.
right?
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
you can switch off yours.
So if we are working on multiple projects at the same time, and in that project, in those projects, suppose each and every project has its own specific requirement. Okay, for example, let us say some project requires Django version 2, some project requires Django version 3, and because there are different versions are required, we may not be able to develop, or we may get some errors during development of the a particular project, right? So in that case, it is beneficial to keep each and every project environment separate, right? And for that, first of all, we need to set up the environment, right? So to set up the environment, first of all, you check what version of Python you have installed. Python dash dash version will give you if you have set the proper path. Now I'm not going to tell you how to set the path of the Python. Okay, it's out of the syllabus or out of the course of this particular workshop. Okay, so Python version 3.9.1 I have installed, and to install some packages we require pip, right? So again, we need to check for the version of pip. Okay, it says 21.0.1, so I'm on the latest pip version. Now we will install the virtual environment. Okay, so pip install virtual env wrapper dash win. So because I'm installing it for the Windows, I'm doing it virtual env wrapper dash win. This is the command. So pip install. Now pip will install this virtual environment wrapper. And if I press enter over here, now because I have already installed, it will say requirement is already satisfied, right? So I have installed that particular virtual env wrapper. Now this will allow me to create a virtual environment. Now to create a virtual environment, the command is make mk virtual env, make virtual environment. Let us say I'm creating a virtual environment for Django underscore workshop. Okay, make virtual env Django underscore workshop. Okay, it has created a virtual environment, and you see I am inside this particular Django workshop environment. Okay, now whatever is there in my PC, that is Python and pip, it will be accessible over here in this particular environment also, because it is inherited from the environment of my PC, right? But later on this particular environment, whatever I'm going to install, that will be specific to this particular environment only. Okay, so for this experiment, so if you want to install Django on this particular environment, the command is pip install Django. Okay, I'll press enter over here, and it will install. It will start installing or getting the Django. Okay, it will download. It will download the latest version, that is 3.1.7. Okay, and it is installing. You see SQL parse, PyTZ, ASCII reference, and Django. Okay, it is installing all these packages. Okay, so it says Django is successfully installed. Now there is a command to create a project. So the command is Django-admin. Okay, start project. So start project is a command. So let me just clear this. Okay, Django-admin start project without space to start a project, and then I'll give the name of the project. Okay, so let's say hello world is my project. Okay, now you will have to look at this particular command and in this particular directory over here, that is f drive sakik, simultaneously. Okay, so I'm pressing enter over here, and you see a directory is created, hello world. Okay, so it has created a directory, and if you see, there is a file called manage.py, and again in hello world there are some files like ASCII, WSGI, URLs, and settings. So these files are already written by Django for us. So this is the beauty, right? Now if I want to go out of this particular virtual environment, the command is deactivate. Okay, what this command will do, it will send me out of this particular environment. Now here I have used this Django admin command, right? If I want to use this Django admin command outside this environment, let's check, let's give it a try. You see what it says? Django admin is not recognized as an internal or external command. So that means whatever Django that we have installed over here is installed inside this particular virtual environment only. Okay. Now let us say I want to start my work now. Okay, and I want to enter in this particular virtual environment. Now, what's the command? First of all, you check what are different virtual environments are available. So work on is the command to check the environments. Press enter on this command and you will see Django workshop and first env, these two virtual environments are there. Okay, so we need to just pass the name on the command for work on. Okay, so I'll just pass a name to our application or work on, sorry, workshop. Okay, so if I enter, it is activated now. Okay, so this is how I have entered in this particular application. Now I'll be going inside this particular hello world directory because I want to develop some abilities in this particular application. So I'll go cd hello world. Okay, now I'm inside this. You please check what are the different files or directories mentioned. So here there is a file called as manage.py. Now this is very important file, manage.py, and with the help of this file we are going to do each and every small operation on this particular project. Okay, so let's check if we have created our project successfully or not, or everything is proper or not. To check, we need to start our production server. So to start the production server, there is a small command which we use every day, Python command, Python. Now give the file name manage.py, and to start the server, there is a command run server. Okay, so Python manage.py run server is a command to start the production server. Now it will start the production server on the default port. Now here there is some warning it is giving. You have 18 unapplied migrations. Now what is this? This thing we will see in next half of the session. Till now, we just have to look at this particular URL, http 127.0.0:8000. Now this is the web address on which we can access our production server. Okay, now just I'm just copying this and I'm going into my browser, and if I go over here, yes, congratulations, you have successfully installed and started a project in Django. All right, now we will give this some abilities to this particular application. Now this is the default what we can say landing page of your application, where Django shows you some documentation link, some tutorial, and some Django community link where you can post your queries and so on. And if you see, there is a small message over here. You are seeing this page because debug is true, right? What it means is we are on the production server and we want to see each and every error that come across or that we do while coding. Okay, and that is why debug is by default true over here. So as and when we deploy these applications on the actual server, not on the production server, we need to do this debug true as debug false. So people will see the actual errors returned by the server. For example, 200 or 404 or 403, and these kind of errors should be seen to the users, right? Not to developers. So here by default the debug is true, and that is why we will be able to see each and every error that we do in this particular coding. Okay, so now let's stop this particular production server. To stop the server, there is a keyboard shortcut Control C. Okay, so we will break over here and we will stop our server. Now I have stopped my server and I want to start the customizing this particular app now. So the command over here, or to start coding, we have already installed VS Code on our system, Visual Studio Code. Okay, and Visual Studio Code adds its own path into our path environment variable. Okay, so code space dot will open VS Code at this particular location, F drive SAKEC hello world code. Okay, so at the location hello world, this Visual Studio Code will get opened. You see my Visual Studio Code has started, and this project over here I'm getting this particular directory. Okay, now as I told you that debug true is mentioned over here. So if you want to see this, there is a file, okay, settings.py. This is a very important file, okay. You have to always take care while editing this file. So the very first thing that was shown to us is debug true, which is over here. So if I make this debug false, I will not be able to see any error on my production server. But in that case, I need to mention allowed hosts also. So that is why I told you, as and when we deploy our application on some server, that server gives us a host address, right? And that address we need to mention, and then only we can make this debug true or debug false. We can toggle this, okay. Then there is a list. Now I am assuming that most of you have already learned the basic data types of Python, and that is why I'll not be talking more about these data types. I'll be just taking the overview of this file. So installed apps is a list over here, and you see admin, auth, content type, sessions, messages, and static files. These 6 apps are already present in your Django right now, okay. And that is why, as I told you, Django provides you pre-written code, so everything is already implemented. You just have to focus on what application you want to develop and what abilities you want to provide through that application. So admin panel is already there. Authentication, user authentication module is already there. Content type module is already there, so which supports our templating. Sessions is already there. Messages that we return after successful operations, that is already there. And static file support is already present over there. Not just this, if you look at another list which is mentioned at the bottom, middleware, this middleware provides you security middleware pre-installed in Django. So you need not worry about securing your applications. Session middleware supports handling session variables and user sessions and all, okay. These are some common middlewares available with the Django. CSFR view middleware, okay. Now you just remember this CSFR. We will be actually looking at this particular CSFR in a short period of time, okay. Then authentication middleware is already there, who handles the authentication of the user. Message middleware, who handles the messages. And X-frame options middleware. Now I'm keeping this particular middleware for your self-study, okay. So you can note it down. X-frame option middleware, what is it? And you can explore this particular thing later on after completing this particular course, okay. Now you see, as I told you, urls.py file handles all the requests which are coming from the user. Now how the urls or which urls.py file will handle this particular request first, okay. So that is why it is mentioned root URL configuration is hello world.urls, right? So this urls.py file will handle each and every request which is coming from the user. And this is nothing but the templates. Now Django is having its own template language, okay. And for that, this file, this list is mentioned over here. This is WSGI application. Again, this is a part of deployment, okay. This is a database thing. Your application is already connected to a database. No need to write a script for connecting your application to a database. Default connection is made with the SQLite server, which is already installed in Django, okay. If we want to change SQLite to MySQL 3, how to change it, that also we are going to see, okay. And below that, there is some authentication password validators already present, okay. So minimum length validator, common password validator, numeric password, user attribute similarity validator, all these validators. So user attribute similarity validators validate whether your password is containing your username or not, okay. Suppose my username is Chetan and I'm mentioning Chetan123, it will raise an error that your password is containing username which is not acceptable, okay. Then minimum length validator. So there is a minimum length of password which you need to set, that is also there. Common password, that is also there. And numeric password, that is also there. So as I told you, Django is providing us many number of abilities. And then these are some what we can say variables, static variables. Okay, that is language, common language, time zone. Now it is mentioned here UTC. We have plus 530. Okay, I'm not going to change this, let it be. And there are some other static variables, and there is a URL, static files, where we will be storing our static files. Okay, so this is that particular file. Now apart from this, there is a urls.py file. Now by default URL is mentioned over here. Now after opening this Visual Studio Code, you just have to change your environment. Okay, so okay, it's okay, I have already installed this. Okay, so Django workshop is my environment which I am setting up. Now if I make this over here Python, just a Python where Django is not installed, this code will be will start showing me errors. Okay, so I should install, or I should select first ENB or Django workshop. I'll be selecting Django workshop because it has Django latest version installed. Okay, and this is the URLs file. Now what is this URLs file? Okay, so right now there is a path mentioned over here. So admin slash, and then it says admin site.urls. Okay, so I'll be explaining you this path function or later on. Okay, as and when we will develop. But the thing to remember over here is this is the mapping between the URL pattern, okay, and to whom the request will be forwarded. Okay, so you just remember this and then we will move ahead. Now this was about the basics of what Django provides us. Now I want to develop some hello world application. Right now what I'm getting over here is this, which is a default Django page. How will I will be able to provide my own hello world message to the user. Okay, so to do that, as I told you, each and every small ability, or I can say each and every web application or a website contains an application. So we need to create an application over here. So I'll be using the same command which I have used to create a project. Okay, so Django admin, instead of Django admin, now I'll be using Python manage.py start app. Okay, manage.py start app, and then I'll be giving the name of my app. Okay, so let us say I'm giving hello. Okay, this is my app and I'm pressing enter. All right, my app is created. Now if I go inside this, you see a new directory is already created, hello. Okay, and there are some already written, some files are there, right? So tests is there, models is there, apps is there, admin is there, views is there. So each and everything is already mentioned over here, right? Now if you look at this, the scenario is as and when user asks for some request. Okay, so user sends a request. Right now admin site is providing a home page to that particular application. Now I want that user page should be shown. A general greeting page like hello world should be shown to the user. How to do that? Okay, so before doing that, I need to create a URLs file for this particular app, so that what will happen is by default as per settings.py, this request will be handled by hello world. So hello world URLs, this file will be handling the request. Now this file should know that there is an application to which he can forward the request. Okay, so go to settings.py, mention that there is a new app over here. Now what is the name of the app? Hello. Okay, and as this is a list, I'll be appending a comma after the name of the app. Okay, now I have mentioned that the hello app is there. Now that app should have a urls.py file, so I'll be mentioning urls.py file is created. Okay, and here I will be mentioning my URLs. So how to mention that URL? I need to import something from django.urls import path. Okay, because I'll be giving path over here, and there is a default variable which I need to write, or default what we can say a list which we need to write, and that list is URL patterns, okay, equal to, and this will be the list. Now the syntax is same as mentioned over here. So you see, it says Django URLs import path, okay, URL patterns. So you need not remember this at all, right? So you can copy this and you can write your own urls.py file, okay, and here you will be mentioning the path. So I want that as soon as user types this 127.0.0.1:8000, a message should be shown to the user, okay. So how that will happen? So I'll be mentioning path, okay. Inside path we will be mentioning 3 arguments. The first argument is nothing but the URL pattern. So I don't want anything after this 8000. So like usually we say hello, okay, like this, hello, okay, because I am inside this hello app. I don't want user to enter something else, okay, and that is why I'm keeping URL pattern as empty. Then I'll be saying that after requesting that particular page, who will be providing me the output, or who will be showing output to the user. So output will be shown, or the request will be forwarded to views, right? So views dot, okay, let's say I'll be writing a view called as index. So let's say instead of writing this, I'll keep this empty as of now, and I'll write a view over here, okay. So I'm writing a view over here. Views are nothing but classes or the function. So I'll be writing a function over here, diff, which we use for writing a Python function, diff, okay. And let's say my function is called index. Now inside this function I need to pass a compulsory argument, and that compulsory argument is nothing but request, 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 okay. So this is my function right now, okay. So why request is I need to forward. Django keeps each and, or it identifies each and every request uniquely, okay. So this is a way how Django secures the application. This is one way, okay. So that means if people are sending a request, okay, each and every request will be identified uniquely. So right now let us say I want to return something to the user. Sorry, I'm returning, and what I'm returning, I'm returning an HTTP response, okay, because this will be an HTTP request. We are working on a web application, so I'll be returning HTTP response, okay. And inside this, let's say I'm saying hello world, right? So I'll be returning hello world to the user when user asks for some or user sends a request, okay. Now in this urls.py, what I was writing a path. So path, as I told you, I don't want anything to be entered by user after this web address. The second argument is who will handle the request, views dot. Now I need to mention the name over here of that particular function, index, and then I'll be putting name, okay. Now why this name is required? Name is nothing but something that you will be using like a variable, okay. For example, you are writing a page, HTML page, and there you need to give an link, okay. So for giving a link we use ahref, okay. Now ahref I have mentioned let's say exact or static URL to a particular page, okay, and later on that page is moved to somewhere else. In that case what happens? We need to change the URL. Now just assume that that particular page is, or the link of that page is available in the navigation, and or we can say in multiple pages, like 50-60 pages, that particular link is available, and we have moved that particular page somewhere else, and in that case it will we will require to change the link of that particular page at each and every inside each and every page, okay. So instead of doing that, if in our href requests or in our ahref tag, in hyperlink, if we provide name, Django will automatically resolve what will be the URL pattern for that particular name which is mentioned. Okay, so let's say I'm giving name as index over here. Now here it gives me error. What error it says? Views is not defined, right? Because it's in the another file. So here I need to import from dot, now this location, import views. Okay, it's done. But as you know, the request will be accepted or it will be handled by this hello world urls.py by default. So this hello world urls.py should know that the request will then get forwarded to urls.py of this hello app, and that is why we need to mention over here another path. Okay, and here I want someone to write hello after this particular thing. Okay, because we know that there will be n number of applications. Okay, so hello is one of my app, so I'll be writing over here path. If someone types hello slash, okay, then you need to include, okay, what you need to include, hello dot urls. Okay, so you need to include hello dot urls. This is will be a running list, and that is why I'm just appending a comma. Later on we will be writing some more paths over here. And now let's give it a try whether it runs. So I'll type a command python manage.py run server, and I'll press enter over here. Okay, now because my server is showing no errors to me, it means we have successfully done this. Okay, so I'll be just hitting this particular URL, and you see I'm getting the output hello world. Congratulations, you all have written your first hello world app inside the Django. Okay, now again if you check, uh, here it says there are two things now, admin and hello, right? So either you go to admin or you go to hello. So I'll be mentioning slash hello over here, right? Now let's assume you don't want this hello also. You want this particular URL to be a should show you the home page. What changes I need to do? I need to just remove this URL pattern from here and keep this empty. So what will happen if nothing is entered after this particular 127.0.0.1:8000, you include hello.urls. So this request will be then forwarded to urls.py file of hello. It will come over here. It will check, okay, now nothing is entered, and that is why it needs to go to this particular views index. Okay, so it will go to views.py over here. It will go inside this index and it will give request to that particular view, and it will return you a HTTP response. Now I want some formatting because the hello world shown to me was very ugly. So I want this to be shown in H1. Okay. Now the beauty is I need not run or rerun my server again. So earlier I ran my server. Now I have done some changes, and automatically it keeps checking your changes, and it reruns the server. Okay, now just I need to refresh or enter, press enter over here. You see, now this page has become your home page. There is nothing called as hello over here. Okay, so it says either a name index is there, or you can say admin. Okay, so name index also we need not mention because we have resolved that particular address as nothing, and it says hello world. Now inside this you can write lot many things. Font color is equal to red. I'm sorry, red. Okay, and you can mention over here slash font. Okay, I'm just saving it, and it must have, yeah, it has checked my code. and I'll just refresh this page. You see, I can style that particular thing from here also, and it returns me the response in HTML, right? So this is what I have written, and now it is shown on the page. Now I'm still not satisfied. Why? Let us say I have a huge page over here, okay, and I'm telling you to write everything inside this HTTP response. How will I write my huge codes into this HTTP response? Right? It's okay if I returning just one single line, but what if I want to return huge pages? Okay, so we will see that, but before that, I remember that I need to show you that how an on URL arguments can be passed to these views. Okay, so let me just check who all are present in this meeting. Yes, I can see Atul Kachre sir is present, Lukesh Kadu sir is there, Tejas Hirve sir is there. So I want that as and when the Atul sir or Tejas sir or Lukesh sir will enter their name on over here like slash Atul. Okay, I need to say hello Atul. Okay, so how to do that? We need to write a new view over here. So let's go back to our default root. So I want hello slash, okay, because there is a app available called hello, and I it is recommended that you mention each and every app URL over here, okay, so that you won't get confused. Okay, now I'm inside this particular hello app, so my URL should be hello slash Atul. Okay, so now the server is not running. To do that, I'll be going to hello views.py, and I'll be writing a new view over here. So let's say def, and I'll be writing a view called as Atul. Okay, and I'll pass a request to this request. Okay, and I'll return an HTTP response in h1 hello Atul slash h1. Okay, and as I have written this Atul as a view, I need to mention it inside the URLs also. So comma, put path. Okay, now I'm inside the hello, so I'm at 127.0.0.1:8000 slash hello. I'm inside over here, hello. Okay, here user will be passing something called as Atul. Okay, and then I need to return views dot Atul, comma, name is equal to Atul. Okay, now let's check this. Oh, sorry, I have not started my server. So I need to run my server. I have the server over here running, and now if I, yes, now what it says? It says using URL defined, this URL is defined in this particular urls.py file, admin hello, and hello slash Atul is given, right? What I'm doing over here, Atul slash, right? So this means the URL is not resolved because you have passed a wrong argument, right? So either I need to pass or I need to remove this slash. I'll say hello Atul. So exact URL should be mentioned over here, or I need to mention this. So Atul slash, now if I do Atul slash, okay, it will say hello Atul. Okay, similarly, can I write another views for same views for, let's say, Lukesh over here, Lukesh. Okay, and I'm writing another view for, let us say, Tejas. Sorry, he should be small. That's just the main. So Tejas. Okay, and similarly, as I have written some views over there, I need to mention them inside this urls.py. So I'll be mentioning here Lukesh dot Lukesh. Okay, and the name will be also Lukesh, and here Tejas will be Tejas, and this will also be Tejas. We are at the very basic stage of this Django. Okay, so I'm repeating the same thing again and again to make you understand how the flow happens. So from URLs .py file of my web site hello world, the request will be forwarded to a hello. Okay, and then it will check hello.url, so it will come over here and it will check what is there in the URL after hello. If there is nothing, it will show hello world. If there is Atul, it will show hello Atul. If there is Lukesh, it will show hello Lukesh. If there is Tejas, it will say hello Tejas. Okay, and this will be handled by views.py. Okay, so my server is running. Yes, I'll just change this argument now. I'll say Lukesh. All right, it says hello Lukesh. I'll test Tejas. It says hello Tejas. Now I'm still not satisfied. Why? Say I have 10 million users, and for each and every user, if I go on writing this, okay, this view, Atul, Lukesh, Tejas, and blah 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 blah, so on, then it will be a never-ending job. At each and every moment, users may come and they may want to see this particular message. How shall I tackle this particular issue? Okay, to tackle the issue, we need to take arguments from the URLs. Okay, so let's check how to check it, or how to do it. Okay, so I'll just remove this and I'll define a generalized method called as greet. Okay, inside greet, let's say this is my default thing. Okay, request comma, I want name. Okay, let's say USR name, and then I'll be returning something HTTP response. Okay, and then I'll be writing h1. Let's say first of all I need to make this as a formatted string. So how to write a formatted string? How to print it? Print in bracket f we write, and then we start our string, right? So here I'll be saying h1, okay, hello, and then inside this I'll be writing the name of the variable. So user name I'm passing over here, and then I'll be just appending my exclamations, and then I'll say slash h1. Okay, now I have written a view, but how to write a URL for that? So to write a URL, as we know, we are going to take some parameter over here. Okay, so I'll be just removing this. Okay, and I'll keep only one thing over here. So what I want is I want greet to be called, and whom to greet. Here I want string type of argument over here. Okay, and I'll say USR underscore name. Okay, which I'm using over here, USR underscore name. Okay, so I'll just copying and verifying it whether it is same or not. USR underscore name. And now the view is different. Atul view is not there. So views dot greet we have. Okay, and the name is greet I'm giving. Okay, so I have written a view now. My server is running. Yes, I'll go over here. So inside hello, now I'll be typing greet. Okay, slash, right, and I'm going to pass any name like Chetan. Enter. Look at this. It has taken my name, Chetan. Okay, let's check about Atul, because earlier it was giving, yes, it is taking Atul. Lukesh, yes, it is taking. Tejas, yes, it's taking. Now there is a problem again. Whatever name user has entered, as a part of URL, it has user has not checked what is the case of the string. Suppose I make this as capital T, it will show me Tejas, but I want my application to be smarter enough to identify that whatever will be appended after hello, it should capitalize it. How to do that? Come over here, go to your views, username dot capitalize. Okay. So now if I check this by making this small, right? So let's say I'm writing a Chetan over here. I'm writing Lukesh over here. So it is performing its operation. So this is the beauty of Django. It because it is developed in Python, it will support each and every function or method that is written for in Python, right? So this is the one thing. Now, as I have mentioned this, later on, for these things, okay, whatever I have written, just brush it up. I have written one view and then I have mentioned URLs into this, okay, and I have already imported or included my urls.py file in the main application. Okay, from here it will go over here in this hello. It will check in the URLs. URLs will check what is there, what is the URL pattern, and accordingly it will call a view. Okay, and after calling a view, it will your view will be giving you the output. Now we have seen this how the user will get the output. Okay, now you will ask me, what if I want to return or I want to show something in the form of a HTML file? Okay, I want to return something to HTML. How shall I do that? Take the same example. I want this hello Atul or hello Chetan or hello Lokesh to be returned from a HTML file. And for that, here we will be using Django template language. Okay, so for a reference, you can Google anytime Django template language, and there is a huge documentation available for Django template language. We will be looking at a few basic things of Django template language today. Okay, and we will be starting with the Django template language. Okay, so Django template language. So I'll be just removing this. Okay, greet function. I'll be again using this greet function. Same thing. Now here, return, instead of returning HTTP response from here, I want the data to be rendered on a HTML page, and that HTML page should be responsible for showing the data to the user. Okay, I just now used the word render, and that is why the function that will be rendering an HTML page is nothing but render. Okay, so return render in bracket. Render, I'll be passing request. Okay, request, right? Request, and then I'll be passing a name of or the path of my template over here. So my path will be hello slash index.html. So I want user to see index.html file. Okay, so right now let's say I don't want this user name also, so let's say I'll also remove this from here. Now I'm not taking any argument right now. Okay, I'm just showing you how a HTML file will be shown to the user. So request and hello.html. Now this particular HTML file will be rendered to the user. So to do that, we need to have this hello index.html file, right? I'm in this hello app, right? I'll be creating a folder over here called as templates. Now you need to remember the folder name should be templates only. TEMPLATES, templates. Okay, now it is recommended that inside this templates you will be creating a folder of the name which is there of your app. Okay, so it helps you to maintain different templates for different applications. Okay, so inside templates I'll be writing a new folder, or I'll be creating, I'll say hello. Okay, because this is my path. And inside this hello, I'll be writing a template file called as index.html. Now this is again a new thing, right? Hello index.html. Now you will say we are writing a file and we are doing it in Python and we are keeping extension as HTML. This is the beauty. Django template language allows you to return your code in Python. Okay, you will be using Python variable right into an HTML file. You need not change the file extension to Python. Whereas in PHP, we need to change the HTML file extension to PHP if you want to display the PHP variables, right? So let's start with this particular page, HTML. I'll say head. Okay, inside head, I'd say title. Okay, name is hello. And again, in the body, I'll say h1 hello world from the Django templates. Okay, I want to show this, and that's all. If I refresh this, I think there should be, yes, greet, right? You see, hello world from Django templates. I'm able to see this entire code into view page. Okay, so this code is returned by Django. Now what Django is doing, as I told you, it's a model view template language. So URLs will check what is the URL pattern, greet, where the URL the request should be forwarded to greet view. So it will come to view, it will check greet, okay, it will submit the request over here, and to that request it will render this particular page. Okay, and index page will be shown to the user. Now I want here, instead of hello world, I want here the name of the user. Okay, so we will again go back, we will do the changes, str usr underscore name. Okay, so here I'll be entering the username, and in views again I will be using usr underscore name. Okay, and here now I need to provide user name to Django template, like that is index.html. How I'll be doing that? There is a third parameter to this render function. First parameter is a request, sender request. Second parameter is a template, and the third parameter is a context. Okay, you remember this? There should be a third parameter, context. Now context is a dictionary. Now what is the beauty of dictionary? Dictionary can hold any type of argument. Any type of value. So it's a key value pair basically. So a dictionary may have a dictionary inside it. A dictionary may have a object inside it. A dictionary may have a list inside it, and so on, right? So almost each and every type of data dictionary can hold, and that is why a context is a dictionary. So inside the dictionary, what I'll be writing is, let's say I'm giving a key name over here, and my value is USR name. I'm returning a context. Okay, come back over here in the index, it will now receive this USR name or name, use this name. Okay, it will receive this. So instead of this, I just have to say name over here. So this is a way how Django template language is printing a variable inside HTML page. So in double curly bracket, I'll be mentioning the key value of that context. Okay, whichever I want to print. So let's give it a try. Greet, let's say Chetan I'm mentioning. You see Chetan. Again the same thing, I need to do dot capitalize. Okay, so if I refresh this, it says capitalize, name dot capitalize. There is an error, template error. Name dot capitalize could not parse. Oh yes, Django template language don't allow us to write any bracket inside it. Okay, so yes. So hello Chetan from Django templates. Okay, so you can learn from my mistakes also, students. Don't get confused. In Python files, you can write the function name and then you can give parenthesis. Okay, because it's a function. But in Django template language, you need not mention any parenthesis. You just call that particular function and it will work. Okay, so I can test it for Lukesh also, right? So now it is giving. Okay, so this is the basics of Django template language. Let me just take a small break. Okay, I'll be back here in 2 minutes. So till then, you can see this how a view is returned. Okay, and all right, welcome back. So we will move ahead now. As we have learned, how can we return an HTTP response to the user? Okay, how can we write a small app inside a website? Okay, and how can we take user inputs on the URL? We will move ahead and we will think about a real life scenario. Okay, so there is a website, very interesting website called as Is It Christmas? Okay, if you search for it, it says isitchristmas.com and you check, it has nothing, literally nothing. Okay, and it shows us nahi. It is giving me response in the regional language nahi. We have nothing to do with the regional language and all today. Okay, but I want you to see this. It is returning me nahi. That means it is checking whether it is Christmas today or not, right? If it would be a date like 25th of December, it might have said yes, right? But today it is saying nahi. And if you check its source code, it has so many things inside this. So nothing is shown to us. Okay, but it is doing so many number of things over here. So I don't know in what language it has written, but still it has huge code, and the output is just nahi, no. Okay, so my idea is to write an app to check whether it's new year or not. If it is new year, we should display that happy new year. If it is not new year, we should display appropriate message that sorry, today is not new year, or please visit the page on 1st of January, right? So let's give it a try. Come over here, stop your server, okay, and start a new app. Right now we have started an app called as hello, okay, and I have mentioned everything inside the settings and URLs over here. I want to start a new app over here. Let me just clear this, and that app is called as let's say new year app. Okay, so how to start? Python manage.py start app new year. Okay, I'm starting this particular app. I'm pressing enter. You look at the left hand side, a folder will automatically get created over here. Yes, so new year folder is created, and here it has created some files for me like admin, apps, models, tests, views, right? It is creating everything for me. Now what is the first step? The very first step is go to your website directory in the settings.py, mention the entry of that particular app. So new year, okay, I have mentioned the entry. Now my settings.py knows that there is an app called as new year. Next step is create a urls.py file over here. So urls.py, enter, okay, from http, sorry, django.urls import path, okay, and right here url patterns equals to, and then we will be writing some path. Okay, so I need to tell that if something called as new year comes inside the request, then I need to new year, okay, I need to include a file, include new year dot urls, okay, that's it. So now I'll be able to call my new year app. Now I need to code that particular app. So I'll come over here, new year, okay, I'll create a view over here. So how to start or how to write a view? Define as a very first view, I recommend that you give name to that particular view as index. So I'll write index. This is my index view. What I'll be passing? I'll be passing a request over here, and inside the request, I'll be just writing a pass. So I'll write the logic later on. Okay. First of all, make an entry over here. So this is my empty file. Okay. So path, let it be. We'll do this later. Okay. Here, how to check it? How to check if it is new year or not? We need to check whether today's date is 1st January or not, right? And for that, we need to know how to check today's date, right? How to check the dates? Is there some package available to check the dates? Yes, there is a package called as datetime, right? So let's say I'm going to my Python terminal, and here I can check import date time. Okay, yes, date time is available. So I'll say now is equal to date time dot date time. Now this is very funny. Date time dot date time dot now. Okay, it gives me the, sorry, it's now, NOW. Okay, enter. If I print this now, it gives me yes, date time object is there. So 21, this is 2, this is 27, this is date, and this is a time 11, 15, 41, and this milliseconds, right? So yes, with the help of this, I'll be able to check the date. Now just try. So if it is giving me now dot day, yes, it is giving me now dot day, and now dot month, yes, it's giving me. So my criteria will be, if now dot day is equal to 1 and now dot month is equal to 1, it should display hello happy new year. And if it is not, in that case it should display a different message that please visit the website on 1st of January, right? My logic is pretty clear. I'll be writing a view now. Okay, so how will I write a view? I'll just write now the same code which we have written over there. Okay, so now date, sorry, time dot date time dot now. Okay, so it says there is some problem over here, import date time, right? Yes, now it's done. Okay, I want to render a page now. So let's say return urn render. I want to render a page in HTML. First parameter will be request. Okay, and then I'll say new year slash suppose index.html. This will be my page, and here I'll be passing some context. Okay, now what context I'll pass? I'll check whether the new year is there. I'll take the decision. I need not pass any date time argument to that particular page where I'll be checking if and else over there. Okay, so let's check over here only. So let's say I'm writing a key new year. Okay, and inside the new year I'll say now dot day if is equal to 1 and now dot month is equal to 1. Okay, what it will return? It will return me today. It will return me today false. Suppose it is 1st of March, so 1 over here and it will be 3 over here. So this will be true and this will be false. True and false gives you false. That is why this will be false, right? So that's it. I have written my logic correctly. So new year I'm mentioning over here. Now I need to write a template for this. So I'll be creating a folder called as templates. Inside this folder, I'll create a new folder called as new year. Okay. And inside this, I'll be writing a file called as index.html. This is my file. So let's start typing type HTML, HTML, head, title. And my title is Happy New Year. Okay. And then inside the body, I'll say body. Inside this, I need to check if that context, okay, new year is true or not. Okay, now how to write that if else logic over here? To write an if else logic, Django template language we can use. Here we need to write that particular code. Okay, so in curly bracket percent curly bracket we will be writing conditional statements, okay, and control statements also. So here I'll say if new year, that means it will check if it is a new year. No need to give any indentation, okay, or a colon over here, and I can directly write h1 happy new year. Okay, else I want to show you some message, else ELSE percent, okay, h1 please visit on 1st Jan. Okay, so I want to display this, and inside this Django template language, whatever control statement or conditional statement that we start, we need to end it. Okay, so to end it, again I'll be writing this space end if. Thus my page writing is done. Okay, let me check my URLs. Yes, it is written new year. And let me check my server. No, it is not started. So I'll be starting my server by giving a command python manage.py run server, enter. Right, so it has started. Let's check now. So instead of this hello and all, I'll be writing new year. Okay, what it says? It says there is a admin or there is a hello. Your current path new year don't match with this, right? So let's check my URLs file. There is a path new year. It says new year dot include. Now from here the request will come over here. Oops, I have not written. So you checked what is the error I made? I have not written anything in the URL. So I need to mention the path, right? So path, there will be nothing after new year. Views dot index, and the name will be again say index. I need to import from dot import views, right? And now refresh this. Oh, please visit on 1st Jan. So it's not 1st Jan today, right? So Happy New Year is not working. Let's change the logic and check our output. If the day is 27 and the month is 2, then what happens? Okay, now this will be a false message, Happy New Year, yes, but I'm doing it for checking my logic, right? So that's my logic, and my code for showing you Happy New Year is done. So first, please visit on 1st Jan, it says. Here it says nahi in isitchristmas.com, right? So I have written a code now with respect to formatting and all in this index.html. You can do it anytime. Like here you can say center. Okay, so it will come at the center. You can keep some space before writing this particular Happy New Year or please visit on 1st Jan. So it will come at the center of your page. Okay, that thing you can do anytime. What I want is I want that while coding my application, my logic should be complete. Okay, and it should provide me the correct output. So it means you should develop your application technically correct and then try to style it. Okay, so today we are going to do the same thing only. We are not going to care about how our application looks. So it's okay if it is looking ugly. Okay, we will be looking at styling things, bootstrap at the end of the day, but we will be going through just overview of the bootstrap. So how can you implement bootstrap inside this particular Django? Okay, we will be looking at more technical aspects today. So this is my Happy New Year app. Now I have a scenario for you. The scenario is I have some n number of tasks with me, right? So each and every day when I go to my college or I'm at home, I have some tasks for those days. And what I do is I keep a pen and paper with me before I start my day, and I go on writing my tasks on a paper. Okay. Now, all right, I know I'm lying. I don't maintain such list. Okay, but still, many people do this, right? So they have a list of tasks, and they maintain that particular list of tasks. Okay, so as and when the task gets completed, they say completed. As and when, or they strike through that particular entry and they say completed, right? And they just go on entering the task list for a day. So I don't want or I am not going to implement how the task will get strike through or it will get deleted, but I need to what I can say, have such application over here, okay, which will give me or which will show me my tasks. Okay, so how to do that? Let's write a new app for that. Okay, so Python manage.py start app. I'm giving the name tasks. Okay, yes, it has started. So see, I'm repeating again and again and again all these things again. So why? Because these are very, very basic things. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to my hello world settings. Okay, here I'll say I have started a new app called as tasks. Okay, and slowly you will also learning something new, right? So right now in our first hello app, we have seen how can we write a template. Okay, how can we render HTML page. In second new year app, we have seen with the help of Django template language, how can we write control statements and looping statements. Okay, over there, loop statements. So here now we will be checking for tasks. Okay, now we will see how can we use or how can we code these tasks inside this. So let's go. I have included this. Now inside tasks, I need to create a file called as urls.py. Okay, from django.urls import path. Okay, okay, and url patterns is equal to a list, and here there will be a path. Okay, so now I'll be writing a view, right? So inside view, let's say I have a list of tasks. So I'll say tasks is equal to, there is a list, and the list says the task is uh, write a letter. Okay, then compose a mail. Okay, then study. No, I don't like study. So play a game. All right, this is enough. So three tasks are there. Okay, and I just want to show these tasks to the user as and when a user visits the index page. So index, sorry, I need to write a view. Define index request I'm passing. Okay, and I'll say return URN. Render, the first parameter is request, second is template. So task slash index dot html, comma, I'll be passing a context over here. So I'll be passing a list tasks, sorry, a dictionary tasks colon tasks, right? So right now I'm just passing it a list of tasks. I'm writing a view now, sorry, template now. I'll create a new folder over here, templates. We are doing this for third time. I'm creating a new folder over here, tasks, and inside this tasks, I'm writing a file, index.html. Okay, so doc type HTML, head, title, then inside this body, I'll say I want to display the list of tasks, but I want a bulleted list. So I'll be using unordered list. Okay, And inside this unordered list, I need to have a bullet of each and every task. So I need to iterate through the list of tasks which I'm getting, right? As I told you, for any control statement or loops, I need to use this percent, sorry, curly bracket, percent curly bracket. So for task in tasks, okay, which I'm getting from the as a context, I'll say li over here, and I'll be printing the task. Okay, then and for, right, it's done. It's that simple. I'm just returning, or I'm just sending a tasks list inside the context. I'm getting it, and I'm just iterating it. Okay. Check our URLs file. Write a URL over here. Path. Okay. And inside this, I want nothing. Views dot index comma name is equal to index. Again, this line I'm repeating. Okay. From dot import views. Okay. Let's start our server and check if I'm able to see. After New Year, now I'll be putting tasks. It says there is no entry, right? Where should I do the entry? I should do the entry in the hello world URLs, right? So like this New Year, as I have written, I should write a tasks, okay? And here also tasks. So you need to remember, each and every time you create a app, you need to go to settings.py, mention that app. Secondly, write an URLs file for that particular app and mention the URL.py file of hello or your main application, and there you mention this particular URL. So as and when the tasks will be appended to the URL, it will include this particular URLs.py file of tasks, okay, and it will handle all the requests from there. So let's check. Yes, now it's visible. Write a letter, compose a mail, play a game, right? Now how to add a task, how to add a particular task. Okay, we need to add a task. So in that case, I need to create a form. Okay, so all of you know how to write an HTML form, right? So I'll be writing a new HTML file over here. So just a minute. Yeah, come to this. So this is an index.html, right? Now I'll be writing add, or I'll be writing a form. Okay, now say I'll be creating a new file over here, add.html. Inside this HTML file, I'll be writing a form. Now, how shall I start with this particular file? Sorry. Type HTML. Now, if you are writing so many number of files, and every time if you have to import some or every time you have to write some code like HTML and all, it will be very cumbersome, right? For example, um, there are 100 pages, okay, to your website or your app, and each page has a navigation bar, and you have hard coded your navigation bar, and because of that, if a single page is getting newly added into your application, in that case, that navigation bar should have the entry of that particular page, and then you will need to go to navigation bar on each and every page if you are doing this, or if you are following this, and then you will be entering the URL of that particular page in each and every page 100. So you need to do the same entry for 100 number of times. So to avoid that, Django template language supports templating. Okay, So I'll be writing a new file over here, say layout.html. This will be my rough layout. So my rough layout is, let's say this is my rough layout. This, what I want over here is inside body, there should be custom code. Like when I want to add a task, I say add form will be shown over here. When I want to look or when I want to check what are my tasks, those tasks should be shown over here inside the body. Okay, but this is just a layout. Okay, so Django template language gives you power to do that templating thing. Here I'll be writing block and give a name body. Okay, so my name of my block is body, block body, and again here do end block. Sorry, what I'm doing now, this is my just a layout. Okay, and inside this I'm writing two things, block body and end block. So now I want to use this particular layout in each and every page. Suppose understand that there is a navigation which I'm coding over here. Okay, so navigation should come at the top of each and every page. I'll come back over here, index, and instead of writing this much code, I'll just remove this. Oh, sorry. I want this UL, right? Okay. I'll write over here in my HTML itself, extends, and then I'll give task slash layout.html sent. Okay. So I'm just extending that particular layout which I have written. Okay. And this is a inheritance. This is how we use inheritance, which is in Python. We are using this inside a HTML page. Okay. Extends task slash layout. Now here I need to mention that thing again. So I'll write block body. Okay. So you may have a number of blocks inside your layout page, and that is why we need to give the name, and accordingly wherever we want to show whatever things we can we need to mention over here what block it is. So block body, and here I'll say end block. Done. That's it. So just refresh this page. Yes, check the source code. This was your layout.html. Okay, and this is your code, earlier code that tasks index has added. Right now I'll be using the same lines inside this add.html. Okay, and I'll write here end block. Now the important part is starting. I want to write a form over here. Okay, so let's say I'm writing here h1 add task. Okay, and here I'm writing a form, and inside the form, let's say I'm saying enter a task. Okay, and here I'll be writing input type equal to text, and name is equal to task. Okay, so then input type equal to submit, and then value equal to add task. I have completed my form. Now one important thing which I need to mention about is form should have a action page. Okay, and then it should have a method. So we are mentioning method is post. Okay, an action that we will write in the form of a view. Okay, now let's check if we are able to return this particular thing from a view. Okay, so let's say define add, now I'm doing this index. Okay, return render request comma task slash hello. Yeah, so task slash add dot html. Okay, I want to show user this particular page, and in URLs I'll be mentioning path. Here let's say if somebody has entered a path after a URL, add, then a slash. Okay, here I'll be writing views dot add. Okay, and name is equal to add. Okay, I have written this. Now let's check tasks slash add. It says has no attribute meta. Okay, Django request meta. So what it says inside the view, here I should mention, oh sorry, request. Okay, and now if I do this, you see a form is shown to us. Now method is post, right? So right now, if I enter a task, there is no action. So I can do this. So write a mail and say add. Oops, what error it shows? It shows forbidden 403. CSFR verification failed. Now what is the CSFR? In the morning when I shown you the settings.py file over here inside this hello world settings.py. Okay, here it says CSFR view middleware. Now what is the CSFR? CSFR is cross-site request forgery. I guess here it is also mentioned cross-site request forgery. Yes. So what is cross-site request forgery? Cross-site request forgery is nothing but a request or a dummy request sent by an attacker. For example, I have logged into my internet banking account, okay, and I want to transfer some money. So somehow user has got access to my terminal, and he knows, okay, now I have started money transfer, okay, and I have requested for a form to transfer a money. So what he will do, he may hijack my session, and from his system he will send a request to the server to transfer a money. So I'll get a form where I need to enter a account number and an amount. Okay, because he has hijacked my terminal, on my behalf he will be accessing that particular page on his own system. So he will get also another form, and in that form he will enter amount, his own account number, okay, and he will press a submit. So on my behalf he is submitting a request and he is entering his own account number. So the money should get transferred to his account number. But Django prevents this by using this cross-site request forgery. Okay, how it prevents this? There is a simple code. You come over here in add. In this thing, you just mention CSFR underscore token. So the middleware, sorry, RF, okay, cross-site request forgery token. So for each and every request, server will assign a cross-site request forgery token, and that token will be unique. So to that particular form, when you submit, server will check whether CSFR token is valid or not. Okay, and if it is valid, then only the transaction will get completed. So it will check whether the CSFR token which is sent to the user along with the form is matching with its association with the session. So it will check whether I am that particular intended user who wants to transfer that money or not. Okay. So now let's check this. Okay, I'm just refreshing this form and I'll be showing you the source code. It will add a hidden field over here. You see, input type hidden, CSFR middleware token, and this is the token value. Okay, if I refresh this, for each and every time the value changes. So server takes care or middleware takes care about the CSFR tokens. So for each and every request, it will give you a new set of value over here. Okay, CSFR token. Now I'll be, if I mention the task and if I press enter, yes, now it's getting submitted. Okay. How to save the files now, or how to add this particular task into this task list. Okay. So views, I have this particular task list. How to do that? So to do that, I need to check what is the request type. So now what happens is in urls.py, urls.py is accepting the request. So it says add. Okay, if somebody says add, Django keeps track of what type of request it is. By default, when user is not giving you anything, user is just requesting a page, it's a GET request. Okay, and when you are sending something or when you are posting something to the server, it's a POST request. Okay, so that is how you have to write. If request dot method is equal to post, okay, then what to do? Okay, else what to do? This is how it will be. So if the request dot method is equal to post, in that case you will have to get the name of task over here, request dot post, and then you will be mentioning over here the form attribute. Okay, task. Okay, so I'm writing over here task. Now the task will come over here and then you will add this. So tasks dot append this task. Okay, so I have added a task into the list. Okay, and then I want to redirect user to the index page. Okay, so how to do that? Return HTTP response redirect. Okay, and then redirect to a particular URL. Okay, so this will be a URL tasks, else return a empty form, right? So let's check this. Okay, now this is my form is I'm writing a mail and add. Okay, so it says page not found 404 tasks.add. Okay, so what it says is there is no path called as task slash add because I have mentioned over here this is an add. Okay, so I can redirect user by using this return, or I can do that by using HTTP. Sorry, by using render also. Okay, so let me check my notes. Yes, so it's this. I'm sorry. we need to write return HTTP response redirect reverse, okay, in bracket, and then I'll be writing the name of the view, okay, and then I need to import this reverse also. So I'll be importing this reverse. Okay, and if I add this, it's not getting redirected over there. I need to check. Yeah, but the entry is done, right? Write a mail. So if I say add, and let's say new task, if I'm adding, it's not getting redirected. We need to check our code. New task is also added. Okay, so the task is getting added, but the entry is not being done. What mistake I'm doing? Okay, HTTP response redirect. It is taking it. So reverse and then add, right? So I'm writing the name of my view. It's right. Add, right? So if I change this, and I say, let's say add, okay, write a mail and add a task. No, I'll check this and let you know again. Okay, so let it be. Now I want to add a link of this. So how to add a link in the index page? Okay, after the list of tasks, sorry, not here. After a list of tasks, I want to show a link. So a href equal to, here I am mentioning the links, right? So here the link will come, and then I'll say add a task. Okay, URL inside this curly bracket percent curly bracket, I'll write URL, and then I'll mention the name of my view. Okay, so what it will do now, as I told you, it will come over here. It will check what is the mention over here. So in index.html it is mentioned add. Okay, it will check the name entry add over here. Add is over here, and then it will convert it into, or it will resolve it into a URL, because I'm writing URL over here. Okay, now let's check that. On tasks, I'm getting this. Okay, if I refresh my source code, you see it has already automatically converted it. So task slash add will be your entry, right? So if I click over here, it is returning me a form. Now on this also, on add also, I can have a same thing after a form. So I'll write over here, there will be index on this, and I'll say all tasks. Okay, I'm writing all tasks. So if I refresh this page and if I check this view, okay, it says tasks. So if I click, I'm going over here. If I click over here, I'm going over here. So let's write a task, play football, and add. Yeah, that redirect is giving some issue. Okay, let me just remove it for a while. Play football and add task. Oops, HTTP response object return none instead. Yeah, I'm returning none, right? Because I'm just adding this particular thing, and I say after adding do nothing, right? Okay, so now my problem is, suppose I have mentioned instead of this tasks and all, let's say I'm printing it. So I'm just printing it on my command line, print task. And then instead of adding it into the list, I'm just printing it. Okay, and here I want a task should have a priority. Okay, so I'll write here priority, input type number, because it is going to a number, and then priority max is equal to, let's say I want 10. Okay, and here in views I'll be printing or I'll first I need to take the priority. So priority is equal to request dot post, and then priority. Okay, and I'm printing it priority, print priority. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. Let's refresh this and check if I'm getting two fields. Yes, I'm getting priority as a second field. I'm writing a mail and I'll say priority is 3. Okay, so add task, if I do, it's not returning anything. There is some problem with the method, I guess. Let me check the code again. So sorry for that. Add, here I'm checking this. So it says the error is tasks.views.add didn't return an HTTP response object. It returned none in. Okay, so it is get response request, add over here. Okay, and then inside this I am not returning anything. Task request not priority is also done. Okay, let's return something. Return HTTP response redirect. Okay, and inside this reverse this, I'll say index. Okay, HTTP response redirect reverse index. It should return me the index page. So priority is, let's say 2. Yes, now it's returning me the index page, right? So I'm coming to the index page, and you see write a mail and 2 is printed over here. So now I can write my that script also. Okay, so here I can say tasks dot append packet task. Okay, and if I add a task, let's say write a mail priority 3, add a task. No, there is some error over here, or what? Nothing is shown. Let's stop the server and check now. write a mail and then 3 add task. Yes, write a mail is added. Okay, this is again a demo task, and let's say priority is 4 add task. Demo task is also added. I want to add a new task over here, and the priority says it should not be more than 10. Okay, if I enter 12 over here, and if I write a task, okay, and if I add it over here, it says value must be less than or equal to 10, right? This is what written in the HTML. If I inspect this element, and after inspecting, if I make this thing as 15, okay, then it will accept it and it will print it also. So you see, this is my task and 12 is the priority, which is invalid. Now this is happening because I am not doing any server side validation. Okay, and a way to do this server side validation is to write a form by using a form provided by Django. So there is something called as Django forms, okay, which we are going to do now. Okay, so how to write a Django form? From django.contrib import form, okay, and I'll say here I'll require some forms or new tasks form, or I need to have some input types, right? So Django forms gives you an ability to write or implement a complete form. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, this should not be contrib, this is just a forms. Okay, so from Django import forms, I'm writing a form over here, and for that I'll require a class new task form. Okay, and it says forms dot form. Okay, and let's say I'm giving this task is equal to forms dot char field. Okay, why? Because I need a character field over here, and here I'll give label label. Label is equal to, let's say, new task, which will be shown over there. Okay, and I can say max length is equal to 200. Okay, and priority also, priority is equal to forms dot integer field. Okay, max value equal to, let's say, 10. Okay, and again I need to provide a label label equal to priority. Yes, now the form is created. Okay, I need to provide that form. So here I'm writing this. So if the request is not post, then return user this particular page, and now I need to provide a context over here. I'll say form colon new task form. Okay, so I'm returning an object of a new task form over here. Okay, and my remaining logic will be same. In this add page, wherever I'm writing this particular form, okay, here I'll write, because I'm getting the form in the form of context, form dot or I can just write this for. Okay, that's it. Just stop this server and restart it. Okay, it has started. Add a task. Okay, now the task form is coming, priority. Now if you check, the form layout has changed somehow. Label for ID, it has added some CSS over here. Label for ID task. Then it has mentioned a new task. Then it has completed the label, which I have not written at all. Input type text, name task. Max length is 200. Required ID. What I have written over here, max length I have mentioned, right? So in views, max length I have mentioned max underscore length. It has automatically converted it into the form of HTML. Max length is equal to 200. Required ID, this. Okay, similar for, I have written max value over there, 10. It has automatically converted it into max, 10. Okay, now if I submit this, for, let's say write a mail and I say 10. Okay, yes, write a mail is added. Add a task now. Suppose play football and I want to enter a 12 over here. Add. It will say, okay, value is not 10. Now I'll use my older method, which I used during HTML forms. I'll mention over here 15. Okay. So now from server, it has not changed. Okay. And if I add this, now also the form is getting added because I have not checked whether the form is valid or not. Right. Now, how to check, how to do that server side validation? How shall we implement it? Okay. So now I'll check over here. If the user request is of type post, I'll get a form object over here, new task form. Okay, I'm creating a form object. Now you will say you will be creating a form object, but I'm passing request dot post over here. So whatever inputs I'm getting from the user, I'm passing it to new form. Okay, so what it will do, it will call a default constructor of a new form underscore underscore init. Okay, it will pass two parameters to it, task and a priority. Okay, and it will give me a object of a form which is sent by the user. It is that simple. Okay, so now here, if form dot is underscore valid, if the form is valid, then only you print and add the task. Okay, so you take those task and priority and add or append that particular priority and redirect it user to the index. Otherwise, else, okay, what you will do, you will be returning user and rendering it him render to the same page again, request comma tasks slash add dot html. Okay, return user to the same page, but now return him a form he has sent us. The same form, the form which he sent us, return that form to the user because it's invalid, right? And if it is valid, then do these things, like add a task into the task list and then redirect to the index page to see whether the task is added. Okay, my server is running. This is my index list now. I'll say add, write a mail. Okay, I'll say priority 4 and add. Okay, write a mail is added because it's valid. Now I'm an attacker and I'll go over here and instead of 10, I'll say this value is should be 15. Okay, my form is changed now. So from here it will be given priority 12 and I'll say add a task. You see, because there is a server-side validation I have implemented by using just a single line of code, form.isValid, it is giving me ensure this value is less than or equal to 10. I have not written any of such sentence in this particular code. Are you getting my point? Okay, so I'm just checking if form is invalid, then do these tasks, otherwise return user the form. Okay, so after doing form validation with this particular form object, a message is automatically appended, and this is happening because we have a message middleware. Okay, so it has a message middleware which is smarter enough to identify what message should be returned to the user. Okay, and it is returning that particular message to the user in the form of this. Okay, now this is also required when continuous development is going on. Okay, so let us say I am on this particular add form now, and my form is saying max value is 10. Okay, but on this particular server I'm just developing it. Okay, and I have mentioned the max value is 5. Okay, now because this is an older version page, I'm not refreshing it. Okay, if I check the source code of this page, it is still saying max value is 10, but on server the value is changed because I'm continuously developing it. Now I am adding a new task over here, and I'll say 8 value. Okay, 8 is a valid value right now on the client browser, because client browser is a older version. So if I add it, it will go to server, and from server you will get a value. Ensure this value is less than or equal to 5. So these are the two things which are handled by server side validation of data by Django, okay, which is pre-implemented. So now I don't want this form should have this particular priority field. Okay, and rest all is okay. So I don't want again this thing, printing and all I don't want. I have appended a task and I'm returning. So what happens over here? If somebody types add after this particular URL, okay, after typing it checks what type of request it is. It is a post request or it is a GET request. So if user is typing an URL, that means it's a GET request. User want to get a form, and then it will be automatically jumped over here and return new form, which is the object of this form. Okay, it will return this form over here. We need not code anything. Okay, and one more thing. Yes, there is one more templating feature mentioned. Okay, the templating feature is I'm just giving this form. If I mention this dot as underscore p, okay, you will see what happens. Okay, so I require, see what happens, it comes at the down. So as p means as a paragraph, so each and every form element will be shown in the form of a paragraph. Okay, so I'm just removing this. I don't want this again. Yes, now priority also will not be there. New form. Okay, so I have written a form class and I am just returning that object to the HTML page where it will be get rendered. Okay, now what if I open this particular tasks on another browser? Okay, I'm getting the same set of tasks over here. Let's make this list of tasks empty. I don't want anything over here. Okay, right now we don't have any task. Now let's say I am adding a task. Let's say write a mail and add a task. Okay, it is seen. This is a add task. I'm a somebody else. I'm a different user at all. Okay, right now I'm Chetan. Suppose Lukesh sir wants to access this particular page and he is accessing this from his own browser. He will also see write a task. So what's the difference in this? This is my task, and within half an hour, if people are using 100 people are using, and each and everybody of them is adding on an average 2 tasks into the list, within half an hour I'll get 200 tasks on my list, which is not meant for me, right? So how to avoid it? To avoid it, there is a thing called as sessions, right? So with the help of sessions, we can do that. So how to do that? There is a session variable, okay? So inside this add task, in this index, okay, while I'm returning this, here I'll check if tasks if tasks sorry, I want this tasks in, or I can say not in request dot session ESSION, okay, request dot session. In that case, what should we do? Request dot session, okay, add tasks. Okay, so I'll say this task because it's a variable. If request dot session equal to an empty list, okay, if it is not there, tasks list is not there, then add that particular list into the task, okay. And then I'll come over here, and instead of doing this tasks, what I'll do, I'll write this request dot session tasks dot append, okay. And instead of append, now I'll be using another method, session dot tasks plus equal to. So this is also some sort of append, but it's a appending a list object, okay. So add this particular task, okay. And yeah, that's it. So it's done. Right now in add also the tasks, it is sending over here. Yes. So here also I need to do this. So I'll just check this. Yeah. So now I'm maintaining sessions. Okay. So if I stop my server and if I run it again, it will show us some error over here. Yes, it says a error, Django sessions. Right now, why it is saying what's the error? No such file or table Django session. Now session are managed or it is maintained by a middleware. Okay. So you see Django contrib sessions is over here and also a middleware is there, Django contrib session middleware. Now until and unless we provide session middleware to this particular project, we will not be able to use sessions. So to do that, there is a simple command python manage.py migrate. Okay, it's a simple command python manage.py migrate. If I press enter over here, it will start migrating. You see how many number of files it has migrated. Okay, so long entry, permissions max, user email, user posts, contents, username, permissions. Okay, so all these things it has migrated, and now I can start my server and I can check what happens over here. So if I do tasks, all right, I don't have any task right now. So I'm adding a task over here, write a mail, add a task. Okay, my task is added. Now let's check if Lukesh sir is able to get this particular task. No, Lukesh sir is not getting this task. Suppose for Lukesh sir I say play football and I'll say add a task. Play football is for Lukesh sir and for me it's just write a mail. Okay, for me, I'm writing take session 2. Okay, add a task. There are 2 tasks, write a mail, take session 2. Whereas for Lukesh sir, there is only one single task. So this is how, without logging in, with the help of sessions, we can maintain data differently. Okay, so it's 12:21. We will have a break over here. Okay, till then you can review this code or you can practice this code. The tasks app is a app which has almost everything. Like, it has a forms, it has session. Now I want you to imagine a scenario where you have your own personal portfolio website. Okay, usually this is a fashion that instead of giving an your detailed resume, people give them a URL. Okay, people visit that particular URL and from there they come to know about each and every small detail of that particular person. So I want you to think about this scenario. There is a website which shows your personal profile. You have done 3 projects, okay, and you have written several blogs. So there will be 2 things. First one is projects, which will be shown on the home screen, okay, and another one will be blogs. If user wants to read out your blogs, he can go to that particular blogs link and he will be able to read those blogs. Okay, so it should be so simple that as and when you complete a project, you should be able to enter a project details and it will automatically get displayed on your home page. So you need not go to your code each and every time and then you come to your home page and then you'll be able to see. You need not go to code. You should think in such a way that you will be creating a framework where you will be entering or updating the data at the back end and automatically it will be displayed. Okay, so just imagine that particular scenario. We will have a break till 1:45. Okay, and we will come back and join this particular session at 1:45. Thank you. In case of any queries, you can ask your queries right now also. I am allowing you to unmute. If you don't have any query, you can leave this session. We will come back at
Sir,
1:45. Yes, sir.
uh, sir, the same
Yes.
meeting link they have to join, na?
Yes, same meeting. I'll end this meeting if there are no queries, and people will join the same meeting again. Yes. Who is
So
it?
I have a query.
Yeah, tell me.
So you told about CSRF token. So the CSRF token will be unique for every user, or it will be unique for every instance?
It will be unique for every request. Means it will be unique for every instance.
Okay, so we don't have to save any CSRF token in database, right? So
We don't have to save.
okay, sir.
Yeah. See, CSRF token is what? Whenever you do a request, okay, to that request, if you are sending some post request, okay, so you are sending something to the form, okay, to the server, then the server needs to identify each and every request uniquely, and when you submit the data for the validation of data, server will check whether the CSRF token is valid or not. If it is not valid, the data will not be accepted at all. Okay, so this ensures
Okay,
that
sir.
whatever request that user has made, it is live and it's not a new request. Otherwise, what will happen? Anybody will be able to access that particular form and on behalf of you, he will be sending data to the server and server will recognize it as you have sent some data. So it's not like that. As and when you are coding some forms, okay, into this Django, you should and specifically if you are keeping form method as post, then you should mention CSRF token. For get type of requests, CSRF token is not at all required, but for post type of requests, CSRF token is necessary. Anything else?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, sir, shall I end this meeting and we will join back at 1:45?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you.